Night 9 of our 13 nights of Halloween, folks. And well, we've officially hit the creamed corn portion of this buffet.
Yep, tonight we're chewing through 1984's Children of the Corn, the Stephen King in-name only flick that proves you can, in fact, stretch a 20-page short story into 90 minutes of questionable choices.
Picture it. A deserted Nebraska town where the adults are fertilizer, the kids dress like they're auditioning for a community theater production of The Crucible, and the big bad is just he who walks behind the rose, which mostly looks like a screensaver made of orange jello.
And let's not forget Isaac, a prophetic 9-year-old who sounds like your crankiest great-uncle, and Malachai, the 6'2" ginger psychopath who exists purely to yell, "Outlander!" every 5 minutes.
But hey, that's the charm, or is it? The acting is enthusiastically uneven, the effects are peak 80s cheese, and the plot holes are big enough to drive a combine through. Yet somehow, this is still a cult classic. Go figure.
Also, tonight we'd like to welcome our guest host, my good buddy Rook from the Melpomene. Rook, what you got going on?
Thank you.
Not too much. I'm just hanging out. Thank you guys so much for having me here. I'm excited about this. I'm just hanging out, living life, trying to make that next move to improve myself.
Awesome.
Right on.
Awesome.
Rook's been wanting to be on the podcast for a while, so now that I finally got him on here, awesome stuff.
Yes, excited to have you.
All right. So tonight we'll rate this corn-fed nightmare using our average scoring system. Story, scares, atmosphere, rewatchability, the whole shebang. Grab the template on Instagram and let us know if you think it's a golden kernel or just a popcorn ceiling.
So buckle up, leave the kids at grandma's, and remember, if a child in a black hat offers you a cup of homemade Kool-Aid, run. This is Children of the Corn, and we're wondering if the real horror is spending 92 minutes in Gatlin.
Nebraska.
Yeah. We are diving into the story. Who wants to be the lucky individual to begin the breakdown starting in the story category?
I'd be glad to go ahead and that off for you.
Okay.
Man, this movie, it's seems kind of like whatever. You got a doctor and his lady on the way to, I guess they're driving across country to Seattle where he's going to be at practice. And they go through little, BFE nowhere in Nebraska, a town of Gatlin, where it seems like a weird child cult has risen up and they've slaughtered everybody and are being weird out in the cornfields without any supervision. And yeah, kind of messed up, man.
So this movie spoils its central mystery in the very opening scene. The opening scene is actually my favorite scene of the film. I think the opening scene is the best of the movie.
It happens so fast.
Yes.
Like there's credits and then all of a sudden something's happening and I'm like, oh, that started quickly. There's no buildup like you have in movies today where there's 20 minutes of credits.
Yeah. Isaac peeps his head out that window and looks inside and it's like, yeah, spike that coffee with whatever that poison is and then start slashing throats. And to me, it's a jarring and decent opening, but then there's nothing for the rest of the movie to make it worth staying for. Every time I watch this movie, I watch that scene and I go, you know what? This might not be as bad as I remember. And 45 minutes later, I'm proven wrong.
What I found really funny is when I first started watching it this time, I realized that that's Linda Hamilton.
Yeah.
And yes. The whole time I kept waiting for this giant robot to come through looking for her. I was like, please, can we just have a giant robot crash through the scene? Sarah Connor.
It would improve. It would make as much sense as the rest of this movie if Arnold showed up and was actually he who walks behind the rose.
That would be immense.
Get out of the corn.
Better film.
Get out of the corn. Bring me your adults.
It's crazy too because this film came out in March of '84, and then she was in October of '84 in Terminator. So it's like, that's where she gets her paranoia in Terminator from. Some crazy children in the middle of nowhere.
You can see the directing difference too, because whoever is directing them in Children of the Corn, I think it's like his first job. Even the producers are like, yeah, this is our first movie. Children of the Corn sounds great.
Yeah. Oh, we are going to get into that when we get to the direction. I have some thoughts for that.
Good.
But the opening scene reveals the entire child uprising in Isaac's cult immediately. There's no slow buildup or creeping dread with it at all. The entire plot is just coincidence after coincidence of the couple's diversion into Gatlin happens via some confusingly switched road signs that I'm sitting there going like, it does not take the 35 minutes now that I've been watching this to drive the 4 miles that the sign has said to get to Gatlin.
Dude, people who are from that area aren't going to be fooled by a wrong sign. They're going to know what turns they're making if they're local to the area within at least a couple counties around, to start to figure. And what about vendors from outside who have to come and restock stuff for these businesses? Like, they don't know where they're going. Like, they wouldn't find the town. Like, why is there not more going on? Like, what the hell?
There you go. Okay. We didn't mention the thing that happens in text only, like during those opening credits. We see that beginning scene where we massacre the diner, and then what do the opening credits say? It's like 3 years later.
What?
Yeah, it's a quick.
I didn't realize it was that long after. Holy cow! I fear it was like months later or something.
Yeah, 3 months would make more sense.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can't just kill all the old people in one day. They'll notice.
They'll see like weird little children with blades coming after them.
Someone might see what's going on.
There's got to be some veterans around there. Someone's probably packing anyway because they're old country boys. Farmers.
Where's Fred and Joe and Wilma and Betty? These people are just gone, and no one ever,
This movie assumes that the entire town of Gatlin was in that diner at that very moment.
It's a sleepy little town. You don't say.
Population of 10.
Dude, it reminds me, frankly, of like where my grandpa's farm was out in Fremont, Iowa, out in like southeast Iowa. Same kind of place, a lot of flat land out there, some hills, and just corn. And so, like, growing up as a little kid out there when this movie came out, it's like, a creepy place still, kind of. But all right, whatever.
So I'm gonna touch on that kind of idea, the fear of small towns and rural areas that this movie does, because I think that's part of its cultural impact, and I think that's one of the biggest things this movie has going for it is its cultural element. But man, I don't, to be honest, I don't understand what happens in this film. I don't. I've watched it a couple times. This couple, after she performs a weird song and dance thing in the bedroom, they get in the car, they drive. Are they going through Gatlin to Gatlin? I forgot. And then they hit a kid and they stuff him in a suitcase?
You missed a part. A medical professional strikes someone with a moving vehicle.
They put him in the trunk, though.
And they checked his pulse on the back of his neck.
His first response was to look over at his girlfriend and be like, "Are you okay?" Yeah. And she was like, "Yeah."
Poke her head.
He's like, "I'm going to have to back up to see what we hit." She's like, "I hope it was an animal."
Yeah. And I just love, he just pokes her head. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. And then he checks the pulse of the struck child on the back of the neck, which my years of CPR certification and lifeguarding tells me that is not one of the 2 ideal places to check somebody's pulse. Here, but not on your spine where your neck connects to the back of your head. Definitely nobody here was a medical professional. But then they do that. They put the kid in the trunk. They take his suitcase, and then they try to find Gatlin for the next 20 minutes in just meandering signage woes. Meanwhile, there's this Amish cult community led by Isaac that's like, two kids want to break out, but I don't exactly understand what the cult is doing other than like, we must sacrifice for he who walks behind the rows, but we killed all our parents. So who are we sacrificing now? And is it not for the crops to grow? But
I don't know.
I didn't see much machinery going on there. They didn't seem like they actually knew how to farm anything. So I'm confused on the motivations here. And then for like 35 minutes, I don't know what happens. They just wander around. There's creepy kids following the two adults.
They just stumble from place to place.
Yeah.
Until
you're
just like, what? You're just like, that was convenient. The doctor's out exploring the town because she's in this house with this little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we found a random little girl all by herself.
That's not creepy.
Nothing.
Yeah. No real questions asked about this at all. How's this girl survived for 3 years? I also like, while they are wandering through this abandoned town, that the children have taken the time to decorate every building's interior with old corn. It really, like, the doors aren't open, the windows aren't broken, so these kids are in there stringing corn over everything.
Country Martha Stewart.
They're really leaning into it's the children of the corn. In case we didn't know, there's corn in every scene.
Corny sons of bitches.
And then we stumble into the final act, which makes even less sense than all of the buildup, where Malachai overthrows Amish kid. What's his name?
Isaac. Yeah, with
Isaac.
a shove. With a shove.
Yeah.
It's like a high school. Get away. And Isaac's
all of the other kids just like.
Isaac's like a FIFA soccer player.
Well, he's like 9 years old. He's 9 years old and like the leader of all these creepy freaking kids.
Because his dad was a preacher, so he learned all that charisma from his father and just could start talking.
But where does he who walks behind the rows come from? How did Isaac get suckered into this thing? How did he get connected with this whole deal? There's no info on it, and it's
what you just asked is more interesting than what we got.
I really feel like Isaac was the victim of a bait and switch. I mean, let's think about it. It's he who walks behind the rows, and all I ever see is this burrowing thing. So it should have been he who rolls behind the rows or burrows behind the rows. There was no walking. It was either burrowing or it was a red spotlight weird effect. It was red or yellow, depending on who was looking at it.
So I don't know if I missed it, maybe, but like, when Isaac comes back, when he's possessed by the thing, by the whatever who walks on the road is, there's no resolution to that. Like, he tries to kill Malachai, he kills Malachai, but you don't see what happens to the rest of that. You don't know if it burned up in the field or
there's no power.
That makes zero sense with everything that has been established to that point. They killed their parents to appease this he who walks behind the rows, but now Isaac is back as some kind of zombie possessed Isaac and goes, Malachai, he wants you. And like,
guess who's back?
Why?
Back
again.
Amos,
that 19-year-old kid, he's like, oh yeah, I'm ready to sacrifice myself. I'm 19 now, bro. Yeah, let's do this. It's like, you fucking idiot. Why would you buy into that shit? You think that kid would like want to get in a car and go meet some chicks, go to college or something, or get the hell out of country town? Like,
not in Gatlin. Not in Gatlin.
I guess not, bro. Like,
the first person to be like, guys, I think we need to change these rules a little bit. Can we, not so much Logan's Run this, please?
Yeah. So, I think I don't know if we've exhausted the story. I'm sure there's plenty of more holes that we can poke in it. But
it's a cornfield.
To me, this story, it makes no sense. This story makes no sense to me. I have to come in I'm surprised by the score I gave it on the 2 after we've talked about it a little bit. I do think the reason I gave this a 2 when it comes to the story
Oh, yep.
is I think there's elements here that could have made a really interesting movie. And all of those little elements, the children running their own kind of cult after killing off the parents, I think that's kind of terrifying on its own. It's just this movie does nothing with that to make it feel terrifying. That idea of like every kid in the town suddenly rebelled against the adults, I think there's something to it. I think there's something to that. And leaning into, like Johnathan said, that small town isolation kind of leans into that. But this movie, so that's why I give it a 2. The story's okay. The movie drops the ball on everything else that could make this better. I'm surprised I haven't read the King story. That's apparently just 20 pages long.
Did you guys ever catch up? Like, what the body they put in the trunk?
Well, yeah,
No,
it's still in the trunk at the end of the movie.
What are they
Stank ass.
Is their next trip on the way to Vegas, and they're going to eat some mushrooms with a body in the trunk or a brain in a jar? I don't know. Like, I don't know. And then very end, they're like, "Hey, we're just going to adopt these 2 kids. See ya."
And didn't they walk away from their car?
Well, the car's trashed because of the festive decorations.
It's got corn in it.
I'm pretty sure they slashed the tires on the car too. Maybe I don't know.
They're in the middle of nowhere. They're going to be walking for days on this secluded road.
It says like 19 miles to whatever the next place was. So they're walking for 19 miles, and that sucks.
And he's got a stab wound, and she's been tied up and crucified on crops.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff.
I just find it funny. At the very end, I was like, "What did they do with that body?" Yeah. There's no resolution. There's a storyline that gets no resolution.
Is it so? Now there's 2 bodies in the car. There's the one in the trunk, and then the girl that attacked him from the back seat.
Well, she got knocked out cold. He didn't kill her.
That's right. Oh. Yeah, he even stated, she's knocked out cold, because I guess he felt the pulse on the back of her neck, too.
It's slow. She's out. She'll be back. Oh, my.
I agree with your score. I'm a 2 as well.
2.
Okay.
All around. 3 all
2s
day.
Across the board.
2s across the board. There was a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yes. It succeeded to have the 3 elements. It does have 3 distinct acts. I'll give it that.
Yep.
It has the setup, the wandering around the corn for half an hour, and then the finale.
And that Act 3 betrayal with that shove.
Oh,
yeah. Take over Isaac now.
when Malachai the Muscle is revealed to be plotting an uprising. So let's talk about those characters. Into our character arcs, we have Bert and Vicky, who, from the book, from what I could read online, they're reinvented for the film. In King's story, they were kind of insufferable jerks at odds with each other.
You sure?
In this, they're softened to be more. Yeah, they're softened to be more likable. However, we know there's nothing to like about them. They're just 2 random inserts on the road. So they're made a little bit more sympathetic than the story. But Bert, at the end, just mostly yells at the children and lectures the cult. We have Isaac, who is actually the only character with a full arc. He's kind of the leader, the rise to power as a leader, and then is overthrown by Malachai and ultimately eaten by the corn god. There is Malachai, who is the kind of the secondary face of the film. Isaac has that unforgettable...
The power behind the throne.
Yeah. He has a memorable presence. I'll talk about that in acting. He's kind of the main crux of the finale. Job and Sarah, who honestly are the most forgettable 2 children I've ever seen in a film. They played Monopoly at one point. That's what I remember.
And you got to ask why they called him Job. Is there some significance? Like, I don't feel like he was ever in the belly of the whale. He was in a basement with lots of supplies, and like he was never. I don't ever feel he was at risk, except for the weird props he was hiding behind as he followed people around the town. I'm gonna hide behind this shrub.
It's a creeper.
And I'm always struck in that beginning of the movie. It starts with this child's narration, and I'm always like, oh yeah, this every time I go into it, it's like I've never seen it before. So I'm always like, yeah, this could be good. I like seeing this horror through a child's eyes. And then it's over. The child's narration doesn't matter at all. And he is extremely unreliable. So they're totally forgettable.
I mean, completely. The best thing about the little girl I remember is the creepy drawing she did. That's the best part. Like, that's the only reason I remember her, because that's what sent Linda Hamilton over the edge. She's like, what is this? Drawing people dragging me off.
Yeah.
Like,
she could see the future.
Yeah. You're just like, okay.
Yeah, man. These characters, dude, they're something else. It's like just the attitude between like Bert and his lady. I don't know. It kind of dumb to me.
You feel like they just met each other on
their whole
set.
Relationship, the way they talk to each other. I don't know. Just and I don't know. It's not
zero
much
chemistry.
Lots of weird children running around, and just like that. God, I don't even know what her name was. That one character, the young teen woman who was in the church collecting the blood in the corn cup for everybody to drink.
Oh,
she was the
one who got punched out in the car. At the end.
In the end. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, she was kind of really annoying.
She's supposed to, I guess, represent the devout priestess, I guess. I kept trying to find tropes for these people that are in there, and the problem is like we're saying, they have characters in this film that don't follow a trope. They're just there. It's like, oh, these kids were on set that day. We needed kids.
Yeah.
And we'll give you some talking lines. Improv.
I felt bad for the old man at the gas station, though. Deal. Man, that guy.
Oh, yeah. He got his dog, man.
Dude, seriously. Oh, he tried to call the dog back. And I felt bad for the dog. I felt bad for him and the way they're creeping around him, his gas station. He's just trying to survive this whole thing. And it's like, what do you do, man? He does what he's supposed to. He tells Bert to go such and such way, to direct him away. And they still kill him anyway. And it's like, man, that's bullshit. That guy could have had more. It would have been cool to see him have more involvement towards the end and like sabotaging and thwarting it if they hadn't killed him off.
Mm-hmm. So the question is, this gas station attendant, where is he been for the last 3 years? How did he survive the initial town massacre? Nobody's out there driving cars.
They kind of explain it. That's what I was trying to get into. So after they kill him, these kids have it starts like they sound like they're going to have a talk about there was a plan, because they're like, oh, now there's something about the gas and something else, because they explain they've been leaving this old man alone because he controls the gasoline.
Oh, because they need that for farm equipment.
I guess, but you never see them running any.
No.
Like ever. Yeah, I don't see them reading the combine manual. I don't see them they don't do anything. And all the cars in town have been Martha Stewarded, so gas doesn't do them any good because there's corn in everything.
Yeah. And it also just assumes the gas station attendant is a one-dimensional character who only exists at that gas station to serve gas and never needs to go to the grocery store, never needs to eat at the diner over 3 years, never needs dog food for his precious dog. I mean, that's all script element.
Think about this logically. They poison all these people in this cafe. You know how hectic that cleanup's going to be? Someone's going to see that. I don't care if you're the best 10-year-old cleaner in town. You walking out with multiple bodies, somebody somewhere is going to be like, what is my kid pretending to be today? Are they playing Underworld? Yeah.
So for 3 years,
Little Reapers.
Nobody, including this gas station attendant, drove through town, stopped
No
at
one.
any of these places. Nobody opened the door to that diner and was like, what's this smeared blood on the floor? Why is this? Nobody asked any questions. Oh, we're back on all the holes in the story again. Yeah, so these characters are nothing burgers for me. Isaac, if he didn't have that iconic look, would be totally forgotten.
I feel every line the Doctor has is dry. I don't feel like like the way he delivers. I feel like he was waiting for his line to be said every single time. So none of his lines felt natural. I'm a doctor, and he's just like, no, you don't, you're not.
A really, really shitty doctor.
What is that line he yells? It's so cheesy, and I love it so much. Hold on, I'm looking at it. It's something about like, don't ever come to my hospital, or don't ever show up in my emergency room, buddy.
Like with that attitude,
Yeah, it's just so good. It's so good. So when it comes to character arcs, I don't need to keep beating this dead horse. I'm a 1 on the character arcs.
What did I put? What did I gotta look at it like. I gave them a 1 as well. I
feel like maybe I've been too generous. I'm taking mine from a 3 down to a 2.
Okay, tell us what you saw, Jonathan. Tell us. I'm not saying you're wrong. We all watch movies differently. If you saw an arc in here, I want to hear it.
Okay, so Malachai, he's just been a follower this whole time, following, order, and he's been doing this shit for 3 fucking years under this little fucking kid. You don't think there's some resentment building up throughout all that time? Of course there is.
Okay,
he's the old ass teenager. He's big. He's strong. He's the one doing a lot of the muscle work and directing everybody by his orders, by the orders of a fucking 9-year-old. Like, what kind of stubborn ass ginger son of a bitch gonna want to do that? I wouldn't. What the hell, man?
Well, and 3 years ago they were being led by a 6-year-old.
Yeah, I know. So freaking weird. Even though he doesn't look like he was 6 years old in the diner slaughter scene, which
none of them aged a day.
More flaws. Anyway, but for all that, Malachai and this whole situation trying to chase Bert down, he's getting a little pissed off, getting tired of the bullshit. And he's ready to just fucking slash, no trying to like take anybody hostage, do whatever. Just like, let's just be done with it. And he finally overthrows Isaac. He does his mutiny. And I was like, fuck, thank you. Yes, awesome. Like, do some shit. Mess somebody up. Do something about this guy, Isaac. And of course it bites him back in the ass. So he had his little bit of his time in the sun for a minute there, and then got crushed by the undead Isaac, which I was like, yes, take that son of a bitch out. So I do see some arc in him coming up, and then boom, just dashing everything for him. So I do appreciate that in it. The 2 weird kids,
I can give you that.
And the 2 weird kids, like how it's Sarah, amazing that Sarah, they survive all this through the bunker, the secret room, whatever, in their family's basement. Okay, like, how did nobody ever find all that shit? And already raid all of it. Like,
there's another question though. So they're hiding down there, right, from the other children of the corn. But when they were attacking Linda Hamilton's character in the house, they knew Sarah was there, and they left her alone.
Yeah, because she's still technically part of that community and one of them.
So why are they hiding then? And I know they were in trouble for helping them. Yeah, I know they were supposed to be looking for Joe because it's supposed to be that one kid's like sacrifice or whatever. But why didn't they ever look at Sarah and be like, "Where's your brother, Sarah?" Like, no. I mean,
well, and we also have why throughout the film are the 2 of them playing games and listening to the record when they have that bunker to hide in,
lighting candles,
Well, somehow they were smart enough to know not to give that position away by playing music down there, I guess.
Okay, that's true. Yeah. All right, finish your thought. Sorry.
Oh, was that it? Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, from a 3 to a 2. Yeah.
I can give you that on. I do think our villains here have the most interesting storyline of the film. So I can give you that. I can give you that. Which takes us to this is going to be nice and short. Music and sound design category of this one.
I gave it a 3.
Okay.
It's got traditional horror movie sounds that have since become iconic. And the music is of such a quality that it gives itself its own nostalgic feel. There's just something about when you close your eyes and you're listening to the movie, because you got to close your eyes because you're like, I can't watch any more of this insanity. But the music hits you, and you're just like, the music is convincing me that there's more trouble going on here than what's being acted out. And I think the music pulled a lot of weight, and the sound effects pulled a lot of weight when it came to trying to convince you there was something going on. And so for its hard work, I gave it a 3.
I can't argue with you there. I do think the score is by Johnathan Elias. It is one of the better parts of the film. The children's choir theme is it's pretty iconic. I've heard it many times over the years. It's unsettling. But kind of like you said, the movie fails to live up to what the music is doing. I don't know. I was laughing out loud at the scene where the kid who gets hit by the car is running through the corn, and the music is so dramatic while he's running through the corn. And then you cut to the couple in the car, and it's just an abrupt, like, the music stops. Couple in the car. And then right back to it, and it picks up immediately like where it left off. Like, it did not flow.
It's almost like they were trying to attempt that sudden break to give you a competing thought, like this is all frenzy and the next minute it's calm. But they failed that blend because it's a dry cut. You're right. It goes abruptly right into it.
Yeah.
And, it might have worked in today's time. They might have found a way to find sounds that came together enough that went from panic to calm and could work with the transition. But this is so abrupt. You're supposed to, like, are you trying to confuse me? And that's the scary part. But, is he going to run into this car through the cornfield? That's what it kind of gives you the feel, because it's panicky, calm. And I kept waiting for a scene where he exits the cornfield out on the street and gets hit.
Yeah.
That would have made more sense than what happened.
Yep.
I'm just like kind of middle of the road with it. It didn't really have much of an impact on me. Everything just kind of blended into the background because I was spent so much focus on waiting for something good to happen, something cool, something crazy, when it's just a lot of running around trying to figure shit out. So I didn't really pay much attention to the music. Like, even the children's choir thing barely registered to me in the back of my head when you even mentioned it. Like, it was hard to even recall that. The sound design was okay, boom, explosion, blah, 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 the sound of getting stabbed, in the chest, stuff like that. That's fine. I have no complaints about it. So,
yeah. I gave it a 2. I gave it an okay.
That is all right.
I feel it was pulling overtime.
All right, so yeah, I guess that takes us now into editing and special effects. Who wants to tackle that one first?
This is a fun one.
I went first last time.
Okay. Johnathan, I think you're up first now.
Okay, so the blood stuff was fine. The blood stuff did what it was supposed to do. It looked like blood. Nothing crazy as far as that goes, but it's that stuff we see at the end. The yellow, gritted, whatever thing that's like crawling up Isaac before it consumes him and then shoots him off like a fucking bottle rocket into the sky for whatever reason. I don't know.
It's like Roger Rabbit had better animation. Like, it's the same idea.
There was some decent stuff going on with special effects in the early 80s, as there's a lot of good sci-fi films from that time. So it's like, why was this so rough.
Yeah, we just watched The Gate. The Gate had vastly superior special effects
Dude,
to this.
For sure.
Exactly. That's
The
what I'm saying.
The Gate had a lot of stop motion in it, didn't it?
Yeah.
There was some of that, yeah. There's some of that, and some dudes in suits.
That was wonderful, man. Because The Gate,
and then like our weird demon cloud thing that kind of
is it the same guy? Is there a red and a yellow team? Are there points? Does somebody get a power up for more adults or children they eat?
Who knows? And like when the cloud is going up to like into like whatever dissolve, burn, blow up kind of thing it's doing, the face that's kind of drawn on there kind of looks like a scrunched up butthole for a minute before you see it kind of come into a face.
I thought it kind of looked like Kiss makeup.
So, I don't know, like that whole thing. I wasn't really pleased with those. The explosions were great. Those were explosions. That was some fire. It did what it was supposed to. It looked like it's supposed to.
It's where all the budget was.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And all the pyrotechnics part.
For sure.
I don't know, man. I just didn't really get a sense of anything for He Who Walks Behind the Rose. And like you said earlier, Rook, the thing burrowing under, trying to go after Job, and like whatever that is, I don't know.
That was a great effect.
Supposed to be roots or something, or is that a creature beholden to?
I don't know. But look at the effects they had for the burrowing thing. Those were cool. It really was. It really did look like there was something burrowing under there, because I don't know how to do that with film editing or anything else. The blobby stuff I can do on accident all day long. But someone put a lot of work into that thing burrowing underground, or it was a really good practical effect, but I don't see that. That had to have been digitally added.
I think it was practical. Because I mean, you could have a track in there in the ground, cover it with dirt, and have a thing that you just drag through on a line to give that
That's a good point. That's a good point. It seems
that's
like
how I would do it if I were doing practical effects.
It just seems like that would weigh so much. Dirt is so heavy, and it's because it's dead weight, and then it slides, and anybody who's moved dirt knows what moving dirt feels like, and it's just I'm not pulling a sled all day. Okay, if for enough money, I would pull a sled of dirt to make it look okay. Never mind. Let's
if the money's there.
What is it? Ernie Hudson in Ghostbusters said, "If there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe it."
All right.
Even so, you mentioned like the blood effects, they're there, but we get out. There's like one kill on screen in the beginning. So this movie even massively fails at being a slasher, which was super popular then. It is edited down so much that it almost looks, there are times I'm watching this going, was this edited for TV? Is that the version I'm watching? Is this TV edited? Because it's a lot of, I'm all for the artsy fartsy kills of like, we don't actually see it, but we see like the hand laying in the blood puddle, like the gas guy. But it lacks, the way it is edited and put together, lacks all tension. No tension in it.
Yeah, there's no video storytelling.
No.
Like with
the chase scenes. The chase scenes feel like an eternity. Just constant.
It's the Star Wars chase. The whole movie's a chase.
Yeah, it is. It is. Everything just cuts away. We mentioned the cartoonish effects. It's like they never even fully thought out what He Who Walks Behind the Rose was going to be.
Nothing.
Just
not even some cool like corn creature. Like I was expecting somebody put a lot of time into creativity into like this like corn troll mix. Like I was waiting for, fire's its enemy because it's corn and it pops, and I was waiting. I don't know, but that there's no monster. There's nothing.
Yeah, like that the animated cloud thing that we see at the end, man. It now starts to make me kind of like reminds me of like some early Ralph Bakshi animation.
Oh, wow.
Kind of thing. Because the way it's done, I don't know, like really gritty, rough. I don't know.
This is one of those that I watched the effect at the end, And from what I was able to read, I'm ashamed that I haven't read the King story it's based on, but probably because I didn't like the movie the first time I watched it. But apparently it ends with more of a Lovecraftian monster. So he who walks behind the rose is more of a Lovecraftian creature, which I'm like, you can 100% do with practical effects in 1984. Terminator came out the same year. And I get we're not talking Terminator budget. We're not James Cameron budget for this thing. But is it the police officer, the scarecrow that's hanging there that was definitely a body at one time?
The blue man?
Yes. He's creepy looking.
Yeah, and amazingly well put together for a skeleton to remain up there like that.
Yes. And it's honestly the scariest part of the film is the way that thing looks and the hanging portrait inside one of the offices of the blue man. It looks like it's Jesus, and then they painted the blue man's face on top of it. It's a creepy looking painting.
I'm not even sure I noticed that.
Oh, if I saw that in a thrift store, I would crap my pants. Like it's creepy. I'm like, that is good. But they didn't have that. Apparently there was an entire scene filmed with this blue man and cut. I don't know that it probably would have just made the movie even more confusing, but I'm also like, it was the best effect in the film. So it's rough, and the editing is rough, and all of it. All of it is rough.
Compared to what they have in the film, I would maybe like to see what they thought didn't deserve to be in the film during editing. Like, where are your standards?
Yeah, considering what made it, let's see the director's cut. Where's
the ruler on this?
Yeah, so editing and special effects, I am a solid 1 on this one.
I gave them a 0.
Oh shit! I gave it a 2.
It was just bad for me.
2.
Because at the time they didn't know that the grainy effect that they were filming in would be something that made it nostalgic. Back then it was just part of the times, and it's just bad.
It's one of those things that I watch and I said, this is a perfect example of just because we can doesn't mean we should.
Exactly. And yeah, it just looks like someone brand new to editing. They're like, hey, we couldn't afford to pay this pro editor, so we taught Malachai over here how to, we gave him a crash course over 3 days and let him have at it afterward.
Yeah.
He forgot to render everything red, it's yellow blob at random.
We can't even actually, I don't think we can verbally explain how bad it is if you have not seen this movie. You just need to see the effect. It is incredible in its own right. So for the script,
oh my God,
this adaptation is by George Goldsmith, and it's really only faithful in name. King's book was much more Old Testament biblical, and this just flattens everything to vague cult speak. We mentioned a lot of just mistakes in the structure of the movie. The narrator spoils things before they happen. The protagonists are given insider help, removing any element of survival horror. Like, oh, we got an insight, we're good. There's next to no dread when friendly little kids explain everything to you.
Yep, I mean, what a concept. They're explaining these big adult concepts, and they seem to have a grasp of it. And these adults are like, okay,
So, makes sense to me. The dialogue is so expository, is redundant, and oftentimes it's downright cringeworthy. Like we mentioned, the "Don't come into my emergency room."
He would I would just stab you to death. I wouldn't help you. I just didn't know. I didn't take an oath as a doctor.
I love at the end when he tries to debate theology with children.
And the true horror for me of the film is just what they get away with. What the main characters get away with. They get away with rolling into this town, murdering a child. They don't ever feel compelled to go tell anyone anything ever. They don't. No, we got the creeps in a town we don't belong in. After running over somebody, we're not finding help. Our car hasn't been sabotaged yet. We should go ahead and just move on to the next town because we can't find adults in 15, 20 minutes.
And they've got a map they don't know how to use to get to the right place, to do the right turns. Like, come on, bro.
If you look closely, they're not even looking at the right state in a couple of shots.
Right? You're just, oh my goodness. It's like in X-Files when they put mountains behind Texas. You're like, no, there's no mountains that close to Dallas because I live there. But, I agree with you. I think they took some... Stephen King is a profound writer. A lot of the stuff he writes has depth. You have to look into it. He like a poet, he uses words and phrases to enact metaphors in your mind, and you're kind of supposed to drive them yourself. And when you read, that's where the horror comes from. You're kind of scaring yourself because he's just trying to generate topics in your mind. And it doesn't translate, apparently, to anybody with a little bit of creativity to screen. It looks like they tried to get some of these deeper points, but whoever was the storyboard director for the film just couldn't find the time to include the depth to explore any of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then how do you have children actors trying to portray these in-depth story issues? And it's not going to ever translate into real life. Maybe in today's time, now that we've explored and acting has grown and things like that, but back then, this film feels like they just put out a call for actors, and these people just showed up.
Yeah,
because I don't know. I've answered a few of those myself. They don't tell you anything, barely. They'll occasionally get a megaphone, tell you what you're supposed to be doing, and you're fine. And then an hour later, that's the day you go home, and all you get is a credit in the film. It's fun.
Yeah.
But they're trying to, like I said, they're trying to capture the magic of an author who writes galaxies in 3 or 4 strokes of a pen. And they're trying to convey that message with children and these actors that are very robotic, very, they have a cardboard understanding of what's going on. And clearly, because that's what we get from the director, that's what we get from the producers that allowed the film to take on this verisimilitude. So, yeah.
I don't think I can. I don't think I have anything to add to that.
As far as script goes, it's okay. I mean, most of the dialogue that we get in it, that some of the best parts are between Isaac and Malachai when they're fighting, versus anything else you hear out of Bert and Vicky, or Job and Sarah. Most of the tension in the script is between those two, and everyone else just like following, or Bert and Vicky panicking and running around. Meh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I just like some of these lines, even if you go to IMDb and you just read the quote section, they're not even bad in the quote section. It's just that they're so poorly timed in the movie or in the situation that it makes them worse than they actually are on their own. So it's just like you said, the script completely fails to convey any depth that this story could have had. It just drops the ball entirely.
It's dry like a popcorn fart.
Oh, no butter on that at all. But I did for
no butter.
For some reason, I did. I said it was just okay at a 2. I said it was okay.
Oh, I think I gave it a 1. Yep.
I'll match it, Tim. I'm at a 2 as well.
All right. I hate bashing on a. I genuinely don't like bashing on movies. I genuinely don't. But every now and then, a movie like this comes across our list, and I try.
Well, it's also like loving bashing though, because we're taking a film out of its time and looking at it with a 21st century retrospect. You know what I mean? We're looking back at all the stuff we're spoiled on now
Yeah.
and rewatching the film and grading it with all the knowledge we have now. But that's what kind of makes it fun.
Yeah.
Uh, it's great to see how much we've grown in the film industry and how much we've come in talent and the things that we as consumers expect out of people producing these things. Um, and I love it when an audience can tell a director that we're not going to sit idly by and let you destroy our stories.
Sonic is a perfect example of that in recent memory when they released. I have never seen a Sonic movie, but I saw when they released the first one and everybody was like, what the hell have you done to our Sonic? And then they changed it and now it's a massive children's franchise. So exactly. They're listening. They're listening. So next category. This is where we get to have some fun with the acting.
Let's see here. Oh, before we get into that, one interesting thing I just saw when I was talking earlier about how it reminded me of like the farming community in Fremont in southeast Iowa.
Yeah.
This movie was filmed in Sioux City, Iowa.
Okay.
Which isn't too far from there.
Yeah.
So,
that
I was like, yeah, that seems a lot like that.
That checks out. So for acting, it's actually, like we mentioned already, it's got Linda Hamilton, pre-Terminator. She does her best with some very thin material. Unfortunately, most of the movie she's screaming at the end, and not a whole lot of depth to that. Peter Horton, who honestly, I couldn't tell you if I've ever seen him in anything. I have no idea.
There are times in this movie when he's walking around, especially like when he's leaving the house, right when he leaves Linda Hamilton's character with Sarah, he's walking around. He has such a Brad feel from Rocky Horror Picture Show. He's tall and lanky, and the way he's moving in the film, I was like, this is giving me Rocky Horror vibes. He just seems so Brad. You're just like, you're such a goofball. You're such a failure at everything you do. The whole movie, he never succeeds at anything he does.
No.
Ever.
Even checking someone's pulse, he feels.
I mean, he barely made it to town hall.
Yeah. So I don't think, okay, he did Split Image, a real film before this one, Fade to Black, another horror film.
Oh man.
Serial. He was in 8 is Enough on TV. He did a lot of TV movies. Maybe that's why it was giving me TV movie vibes. The person that I noticed the most is Courtney Gaines, Malachai, because he's in one of my favorite movies of all time. He's in The Burbs.
Oh, shit. That's why he looked familiar.
He plays that little redhead in the creepy house across the street.
Question, you know who he looks like too? And we need to see if he's the same guy. Is he the bully in A Christmas Story? Is that a younger version of him? Because I
don't think that.
That jaw, man. Or maybe it's a redhead thing. Anyway.
His top listed roles are he's Dixon in Back to the Future, Kenneth Werman in Can't Buy Me Love, Hans Klopek in The Burbs, and Yep. He's so good in that role. He's perfect in that role. I love that movie so much. It's one of the few movies I think is nearly perfect. But yeah, he's the one that stands out to me. John Franklin plays Isaac, who was 24.
Wow.
When playing this part. 24, which is, I actually think he has,
he's got a condition. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Which makes him look much younger, but he actually is not bad if it wasn't just a god awful script.
Right.
the child actors, Sarah and Job, they're serviceable. They're serviceable, I guess.
They're the director's kids, you know.
Yeah, I think most of these kids are like, "Hey, Jeff from lighting, can we get your kid in this scene?" Like,
Right.
yes,
The general call, people responded.
Yep.
Well, the
I've
gas station attendant deal, like R.G. Armstrong, I've seen him in like a lot of like other side role characters in a lot of stuff. So I was familiar with him. And the guy that played Bert, Peter Horton, for a while there, for some reason, like in certain scenes and certain angles, he reminded me of the actor Steven Weber from that TV show Wings.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't remember what else he's in, but I just remember him from that TV show. Like every time I look at Bert, I'm like, what? Kind of looks like that dude.
Yeah. The biggest problem here, and this goes directly into direction, which is next, but I also got to lay it on the actors for this. Most of the time, it seems like this cast is wandering into the scene, reading their lines phonetically, and then wandering out. That's it. It's really bad when Malachai approaches. I think it's our first like interaction with Malachai and Isaac. It is just flatline delivery, no real acting. It's
Nope.
I'm reading the line, you read the line, I read the line, and then that's the scene.
You don't get any idea that there's been a power struggle in this little cult because, you know, clearly Malachi's had the time to turn the faith of the others toward him because they support him, but we don't ever get to see any of that. So when the two pillars of the faith clash, we have no idea what's going on. It's just,
I was
I'm
blindsided.
right. Yeah, I'm right. No, I'm right. Shove.
I was completely blindsided by it. I didn't even.
He only talks to me, Malachi. No, I don't think you're right. Have you been hearing voices, Malachi? Maybe you should say something. Prove that he's talking to you. You know, you're just the guy that's going off going, I think we should kill the gas station attendant today. Why?
Yes. Yeah, man. Yeah. So part of me, I just feel bad for Linda Hamilton. I maybe I don't because she followed this up with Terminator and she was set for life. So
yeah, it's like her agent apologized. It's like, I got you this role in Terminator.
Well, before this movie, she'd only been in like a handful of stuff of like some TV shows and some TV movies. So I think this was like one of the first big films that she was in, I guess, before really kind of blowing up with Terminator.
What was she in prior? I mean, all of her top. Oh, she had a decent career. She's done quite a bit, even from voice acting to a bunch of TV show roles.
Dante's Peak.
Yes, that's what I was just looking at. Dante's Peak. She did, TV movies before this. Yeah, this was
her breakout.
Yeah, there was Night Flowers in.
That just sounds bad.
Yeah, it does. It was in 1979. And then it was just TV show after TV show after TV show until Vicky and Children of the Corn in 84. And then she was also in The Stone Boy in 84 and then The Terminator. So she had 3 movies in 84.
Good for her. What a good agent.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that she was in King Kong Lives, and now I want to get my hands on that movie.
I didn't either. But in the movies you see her in, you're like, I know exactly who that is. But naming them outside, like you're just like, Dante's Peak. I completely forgot she was in that.
Yeah, I wanna go back and see some more of these. But man, I don't know if I should feel bad for her because her career took like. James Cameron must have cast her before he saw this movie. He had to have cast her before this came out. I gave the acting a 2.
Oh, yeah, I gave the acting a 2 as well.
Considering, sorry, go ahead.
They managed to tell a story. Like I said, there was a beginning, a middle, and an end. As bad as it was, I can't blame the actors ultimately for what I think a director and or a producer should ultimately be responsible for.
Exactly.
So the actors, or maybe the actors are so bad and what we're getting are the best performances of these people and we don't know because we can't see that b-roll. It's gone, it's on the floor somewhere.
For me, it was serviceable for the most part. You got to take some consideration with it because you're dealing with some child actors mixed in there, and then just some like no-name teens who are just kind of background fillers as part of the crowd to kind of give some kind of body to the cast. Bert kind of didn't really do much for me as far as his acting. He's kind of hacky, and Linda Hamilton kind of hamstrung by the role to not really be able to give as much. R.G. Armstrong, his deal was cool. And whatever, teen fights, bullshit, whatever. It was just okay for me. I just gave it a 3. No big deal.
Yeah. So on to then the direction. The direction of this movie. It is directed by Fritz Kirsch, if I said that right. He was a first-time director whose background, everything's going to fall into place right now. Background was in commercials. And it shows.
Yep.
The scenes,
burst ideas.
Yep. The scenes are static, overlit, and devoid of emotion entirely. He failed to balance tone, which is probably this overall. There's a lot of crimes in this film. The failure to balance tone is the one that bothers me the most. Between religious allegory film, is it a monster movie? Is it a cut for TV horror movie? None of them it goes into all out. It kind of dips its toes into everything, even that little bit of slasher element in it, and it fails at everything. And there's the biggest crime of him. Somebody can direct a commercial and then direct a good movie. Yes. His biggest crime is it's just shot like a commercial. It's not visually appealing. There's no really interesting shots. There's no rule of thirds or anything.
Right. It's rough, yeah. And it feels like now that you say that his history is in commercials, if you look at the scenes that do kind of work for you throughout the movie, they are 30 to 45 seconds long.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the parts you're going to remember. Him walking, Malachai running around screaming. And the only thing that makes that memorable for me is that kid's mouth opens impossibly wide while he's screaming. And then he cuts Linda Hamilton's face. That whole scene might have been 45 seconds and feels like a commercial a little bit. I mean, even the way it zooms out and you see the parking lot and they're standing there and he's pushing her around the parking lot after that as they fan out. That felt like the end of a commercial.
Yeah.
You want sharp knives? I don't know.
Well, and that's probably why that opening breakfast scene works, because it's pretty short. It's longer than a commercial, but it's a self-contained story that is very short.
And it's got that one movement, like you feel like it's going to start following something. So there's a point where it zooms in where the kid is secretly locking the front door. I would have wanted more secret scenes of a camera of them doing something, more secret scenes of them pulling out these weapons rather than them just like, okay, the door's locked and they're just brandishing sickles. It would have made it scarier if I would have seen more care, less of the weapons, like a peek. Yeah. Let me know what's going on. Don't let me see it. Let me imagine these weapons these kids may have invented. With Lord knows what they're finding all over this town to kill people with,
Yep.
But nope. Sorry.
I go back, like we talked about the dirt hump in the effects. I think that's one of the best things he does in the movie. The opening scene and that, I think, are the strongest things here.
I was kind of annoyed with like the kid that was on the roof of the one building that like calls out Bert at that one time. It's like, how long's that kid been up there? Has he been up there the whole time? If he has, why hasn't he called him out earlier in earlier parts of the movie when he's running around town? And instead of just while like Joe is creeping around following him, like how is nobody else on any other roof like pointing out people and seeing the shit when they know there's somebody running around town already? Like, it didn't make sense to me. I don't know. Yeah, it gives them kind of a direction to go, as it were, in that scene when they're trying to find him. But I don't know. I just didn't like that part of it.
Right. That's rough.
And why was there more bum rushing Bert with all the kids around him versus them just kind of standing in a circle? I would have liked to see them like actually do something and maybe Bert fight and punch the shit out of some of those teens.
Right.
These background kids do nothing the entire film.
Wussies.
What they need here is a good Anakin Skywalker moment. They need someone to just wade into that cornfield and just start chopping kids down.
I'm sorry, a teenage kid coming at me with a knife is getting his ass beat. So.
Not the younglings.
Right, exactly. Not the younglings. Get to the dark side.
Ultimately, I usually go for direction as how well the director pieces together all of the elements of the film. How does he execute a vision? He or she, this case he. Is the vision executed? Is it edited consistently and coherently? Is it shot interestingly? Does it make sense? Does he pull the acting and the script and the story and all of that together to create a cohesive vision? No.
Cliffhanger.
Not in this film. Not in this film. So I had to score the directing on this one. I gave it I gave it a 0. I think it's awful.
Oh shit.
I thought I was being harsh.
This direction is right there with me on Troll 2, and Troll 2 is a far more enjoyable film.
Okay, Troll 2.
Shit, man.
I thought I was being harsh.
I don't think I've ever heard you score a 0 like that before on direction ever.
I don't think I have.
This is a first. Wow.
This is just, I think the
first
0.
Direction 0.
It's just incompetently made.
Dang,
I gave it a 2. And I thought I was being harsh. And I thought about direction real hard because I was like, and for me, I gave it a 2 just because I could confidently say, once again, there was a beginning, middle, and end. And it was carried. It was shot consistently, poorly consistently, but at least
that's fair.
Yeah, it was. It didn't. Once it set its pace, it didn't surprise me, and that's okay. Like you said, it could have used a little bit more in direction, but I thought 2 was harsh. I really do. I don't know. And you give it a 0, and I'm just like, wow. But I think somebody somewhere tried. I think that they listened to some talent agents, somebody somewhere, and for whatever reason, they helped the director score in that. Somebody helped the director somewhere, and I just gave it a 2 because I could follow it.
I'll give you that. I think I just ultimately he is responsible for all of the final decisions in the film, is what I think. It could have been producers, and I could be unfairly giving that to the director. I could, but yeah, I don't know, Jonathan.
Well, you know me, how I feel about direction.
Yep, it's your favorite category.
I do feel like maybe. Because anytime I just don't really care about direction, I'm just going to score middle ground at a 3. But with your talking points, I'm more convinced to change that score. So I'm going to bring myself down to a 2.
Okay.
I don't feel so bad anymore.
Don't. All right, this one's going to surprise you guys. The it factor, the cultural significance of this film. I'll kick it off after my 0 of the direction. I am a 5 on the cultural significance and it factor for this film.
Damn.
No, you're okay with that. I'm okay with that.
This spawned 10 plus sequels and reboots. None of them are great, but what other horror franchise? I mean, Friday the 13th, yes. Freddy had his fair share of films. Saw had its fair share of films. Who else has reached that number?
Right.
10 plus is insane.
Puppet Master.
True. It's the Fast and Furious of evil children. Yeah.
Hellraiser.
Oh yeah, Hellraiser. Couple of Hellraisers are good. I think it endures for all the wrong reasons. The Outlander has become a meme at this point.
It's as popular to me as Warriors Come Out and Play. It's got that same feel. Yep, it does.
Stephen King thinks it's one of the worst adaptations of his work.
But somebody with taste.
It's kind of a train wreck that fans love for some reason. It is a major missed opportunity, I think, for a great film, but the number of sequels is insane. And I have to say, being born and raised in Indiana amidst the cornfields of Indiana, I heard of this movie my entire life. People talked about this movie growing up all the time, about like driving through small towns, like Johnathan would say, and being like, oh, this is Children of the Corn vibes or whatever. It has been part of the cultural lexicon of my childhood and adult life for 35 years now. It's still something that's brought up about like, oh, it's like that kid from Children of the Corn. So even though I think this movie is not a great movie, I think it has some serious significance culturally. I think it's still out there.
I agree. I gave it a 4, which is why I loved your 5. I gave it a 4. I felt I was actually being fair. Thinking about this, yesterday I turned 50. So, I've been watching movies for a while, and I grew up scaring the heck out of myself on horror movies, which is why I love them so much today. And I look back on watching Children of the Corn then and watching it now. And like I was saying before, the way it's filmed, like the grittiness, the way it feels it feels good to go back and watch it and go, man, it does feel like childhood. And it does feel like something that might have scared me when I was a kid. And I didn't have all the answers I have today, and it let my imagination go wild. And somewhere in this world, there are farms taken over by kids, maybe individuals like-minded like me, that just want to kind of overthrow the parental government and, fit for lives for ourselves in the cornfields. So it stirred up all that in me. And Linda Hamilton, of course, is endearing. It makes you, knowing that she's such a success today, you have to look back on her works with fondness and realize where she came from. And so that makes it great. And, she's a good memory. So for nostalgia and all that, I can definitely understand why Children of the Corn is a cult classic. It's got all the things, the cliche one-liner things and the awkwardness that it's awkward, but it works because it's a horror movie. And sometimes awkward is scary, but they didn't know what they were doing at the time. So you're like, good on you guys, I really enjoyed ultimately the way the feel I get from the movie leaves me feeling pretty good. I don't really feel like the good guys won, but I don't really feel like the bad guys,
Yeah.
Won either. It's just great. It's like everybody loses. The kid in the trunk loses. He doesn't even know what the viewer loses. Yeah, he was like,
actually, someone's gonna find that car, find his registration, find the dead body, and be like, "Yo, what the hell, bro?"
That's a sequel. That's a sequel right there. Some psychic detective needs to hunt them down. Maybe someone from a hotel with The Shining should.
It's called Kolchak. Right. Get him out there.
Oh, there you go. For me, it was good enough that people were interested enough to make sequels and trying to continue to carry it on to such an extent that it is. I think one of the most impactful things about it, though, from the film, is aside from the film, is the actual movie poster itself. I think the movie poster was far more impactful out of anything.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm glad you brought that up. It has killer posters.
Absolutely. And it's kind of cool to see like other iterations of that same kind of format of just black silhouette, solid color background, like with that red. You know, we see it copied in a lot of different things over the years since. Probably was something you've seen in like movies before that even. But just like that image of that hand, the cornrows, and then that hand scythe, you know.
Right.
It just it has a certain impact to it. There's an impending doom, something shit is about to go down, something brutal on the farm.
Yeah, because the way he's holding it imparts action. Like that thing's.
So you can see it's an arm up, ready to strike.
Right, exactly. Score 1 for the marketing team.
Oh, it is. Yeah. It is VHS rental night gold. You see that on the cover. 13-year-old you is like, I'm taking that movie home.
I'm scaring myself. Yeah, I'm not sleeping with the light on tonight. You know, my backyard suddenly sprouted some cornrows.
Hell yeah! So for all of that, I'm not sure what other impact it really has aside from that. Aside from maybe inspiring some other weird little middle of nowhere town cult films, I feel 3 is comfortable.
Yeah, I'm you're good there.
So in decreasing order, it was what a 5, 4, and 3 over here.
The gradual countdown. Okay, do we have Rook? I have your final score. Jonathan, you have yours.
Yeah, are we gonna do the entertained portion?
Oh, yeah, I skipped that. My bad. Entertainment factor. You keeping me on track.
For me, with as much time as I spent waiting for something to happen, and the lack of what I thought was going to be some interesting violence throughout, I'm a 6 on this one. Yeah, a 6er.
I landed at a 6 as well because it made me laugh, and if I'm laughing, I'm entertained. And I, you know, every time I saw something, a story went on in my head. I tried to make excuses for this film to be good, and it's endearing. So I give it a 6 for that reason.
So I think mine is very different. I think every time I watch this movie, which is not a lot, just growing up, I hear all those people talking about Children of the Corn. And so every time I watch it, I try to find this great movie inside of it. And I don't. And so I'm very frustrated by my watch. I'm very frustrated. And I think this is finally the watch that made me realize, like, the best way to experience Children of the Corn is with a couple drinks and a couple friends and just chilling out, laughing,
absolutely,
and having a good time watching this movie. That's the best way. But because every time I have watched this prior, I've been looking for the movie that was whispered about growing up in the cornfields, I don't see it. So it's a 3 for me right now.
See, I was going to ask you that question. I was going to ask you, is these other people mention the film, and then you start thinking about it, and for some reason in your head, you do a better job of retelling the movie in your mind than what you got. And you get back and you go, I don't remember it being this bad.
Yes, I think that is the case. Most of these people saw this movie when they were 13 or 14, you know, and it probably freaked them out then. Yeah. And that is, I do think it's one of those, I mean, recently Jonathan and I talked about The Gate, and we talked about how that was an excellent gateway horror movie for kids. Some genuine scares in there, some great effects, just a well-made movie. This is another movie that I think is totally safe to show children and will probably freak some kids out, But I'm not worried about this like traumatizing them for years because there's nothing traumatic about this film.
Yeah, nothing. Unless they go into movie business themselves, there's nothing to be afraid of here.
Yeah. It's kind of, like I said, I was checking to see if it was edited for TV. It's kind of just a safe TV horror film. Nothing extremely graphic is seen. Everything's off camera.
Not even his stab wound when he gets stabbed in the pec. And he goes in and he takes his shirt off around these kids when they're in this basement, and he lets that little girl just do whatever. And she does. She has like the Barbie patchwork moment. You go back and look at the way she dresses his wound.
He's the doctor.
I know, and he's wrapped up like a Christmas present. It goes all the way around his back. It goes over, and you're just like, what is happening here? And like she has this womanly knowledge at her age to just know how to dress wounds, and you're like, how mentally old is this child? And where was this child 3 years ago?
Oh, see in the background.
If that little girl was younger 3 years ago, who was taking care of her? What were those parents like then? What was going on? We know she had that fit and the fever and all, but she looks the same age.
Yes. None of these children aged a day in 3 years. It's part of the magic that I thought would be explained by this he who walks behind the rose. You also don't age as long as you're sacrificing to him.
And that would be an interesting effect, though. That would be a kind of like a vampiric quality.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have to sacrifice any of the kids because they would stay the same age.
These eternal children, that's freaky.
Yeah, they're using human energy to refuel their human energy. It makes sense.
I can make a better movie right now. I know it.
Cannibal Corn.
Apparently, guys, there was a remake of this in, was it 2020?
No,
earlier than that, I think.
No. Yep, it is 2020.
Wow.
And it was apparently the Children of the Corn remake from 2020 is even worse.
What? No.
I will hear it.
Wow.
Let me see if I can. Oops. Let me see if I can share that screen.
That's crazy to hear. I mean, I'm glad they remade it, but you would figure with like I said, all of our skills in today's time. Wow.
Children of the Corn from 2020, rated R. It is sitting at a 3.8 on IMDb. I mean, honestly, it at least looks a little bit more thematic. But everything I've seen about this is just one star, absolutely awful. Apparently, the version we saw is the best Children of the Corn. So,
well, I like the movie poster for it.
Yep.
At least that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is the franchise that does not die. So, our totals all together. Rook, I have yours at 21.
Yep.
I'm 25.
Okay. 25. And I am sitting. I'm sitting at 18.
Wow. This is going to be your lowest scored film yet.
It might be. So the average for that puts it at a 21.3, which would be it'd be a 21 or yeah. So that is a 2 out of 5 stars. And I'm pretty comfortable with that.
Me too.
I do think ultimately our goal is to kind of guide you in films that work well in social settings if you're having friends, company over. And I do think 2 out of 5 is pretty good representation of how well this would go over with an audience.
Yeah,
I think it would go over that well in today's... Huh?
You could probably turn it into a pretty good drinking film. Every time he says Outlander, take a shot. Or,
that is how I think this movie succeeds. is in that situation. It's not a movie that you're looking for a scary movie. Let's pop this one on. In fact, if you're looking for a scary movie in that crowd Halloween party, this is a bad choice unless you're making it a drinking game, hanging out, joking. If that's the crowd you're with, this is probably solid gold.
Solid gold.
If you're in a crowd that's looking for something genuine, no, skip this one.
Yeah. See Sinners instead.
It's on my list. It's coming to Max soon. I can't wait.
Ooh, baby. Oh my goodness.
Or if you want to be deeply disturbed, Bring Her Back hit streaming. Bring Her Back was the most upsetting movie I've seen this year. But so, is that all we have to say about this? Final thoughts, everybody?
Yeah, it's enough ripping on them. Yeah.
Yeah, make sure you have plenty of popcorn.
Yes.
Plenty of butter.
Plenty of butter.
All right. And that's a wrap on night 9 of our 13 Nights of Halloween series. We made it out of Gatlin. No corn god converts. No child run tribunals. Just a mild headache and a healthy fear of farm towns.
Children of the Corn might not be the scariest or the sharpest blade in the barn, but it's got charm, chaos, and just enough creepy kid energy to keep its cult classic status. Barely.
Huge thanks to Rook for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's been fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun having you, and a huge thank to everybody listening along during our 13 Nights of Halloween. We're in the final stretch now, so if you've missed any episodes, go back and check them out. From The Witch to Pumpkinhead, which is coming up. Pumpkinhead was earlier. There's plenty of horror to harvest.
And don't forget, you can rate every movie along with us using the templates on our Instagram. Tell us if you think Children of the Corn is underrated 80s horror or just a field of missed potential.
Like the episode, drop your score in the comments, and subscribe so you don't miss the last few nights. Things are only getting weirder from here.
Speaking of strange, tomorrow we hop across the pond to a little island with big secrets. Pack your hymnal and leave your logic behind because we're visiting Summer Isle.
Until then, stay spooky, stay safe, and keep an eye on the corn.
Yep, and if you ever join a corn army, make sure you're a colonel.
Oh,
nice.
Oh, we'll see you tomorrow.